All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to week 3. We have now gotten the dreaded group presentation projects over with. I do realize that it was probably pretty stressful for a lot of people because, as with any kind of group projects, there always tends to be people that end up not showing up, or they initially check in, participate a little bit, and then they don't help finish it out. Unfortunately, that's pretty typical with any group project, whether you're doing a face to face class or whether you're doing an online class. Unfortunately, for an online class, it's sometimes a little bit easier for people to kind of disappear and not end up finishing out the project. But one thing I do want to point out is that it does show a lot of resolve, basically, that those of you that did have to finish out the project, you found a way to do it, whether you got back in the group discussion and you rounded up the rest of the people and kind of made a new plan and moved on from there. That's good. That's what I wanted to see, is that people could still move past if there was a hiccup or something, if somebody didn't end up helping out or something happened that a person seemed like they were going to be a part of the project and then they just never actually finished out with you. It just shows a lot that you were able to finish out the project. So, congrats to you. And even though it is kind of painful and most people do not like group projects, it's still a very good skill for everyone to learn how to do, even in an online class, because it's going to be something that's going to benefit you in other classes where you have to do group projects. And the more that you practice it, the easier it's going to get. And it's also going to be easier for you going into the future to know from this experience, okay, this didn't work, or trying to get people to get together in this aspect, it didn't work. Maybe if I try something different the next time, it'll work a little bit better. And it's all a learning experience. So just take from it what you can, that it is a learning experience and it is something beneficial as well for you going into future careers, because oftentimes a lot of your employers are going to ask you to work one-on-one with somebody else to tackle a problem, or to work in small groups to try to tackle certain problems. And if you've never worked in a group before and practiced it and learned from mistakes that were made, or learned from, the bad things that can happen with group projects, you may have to experience that in your actual work field instead of getting to practice it here when you're in college and kind of figure out what things worked well for you when you worked in groups, how to communicate with people to try to get people to, pull their part. So it's all a learning experience. Try not to stress too much now that it's over with, because as I do the grading, I have taken note of, emails that were sent to me if somebody had an issue with a certain group member. Anything like that I do take into account whenever I do the grading. And if somebody did not end up finishing out the project, they're not going to necessarily get the full points the way that the rest of the group members did. And for those students that didn't participate at all, they're not going to get any points for it. So it's, that's just kind of the way it goes. But I do expect that happens. It happens every single semester. And it even happened in my classes when I did used to teach the face-to-face classes. We still had, when we would do group projects, we would still have group members that didn't end up pulling their weight, didn't do the work, or, they just didn't show up on the day that the students had to do presentations in class. And that was pretty stressful for some of the students in those situations. So it's typical and it happens. So anyway, let's put that aside. We got that out of the way. So now we're going to just go over week 3. The first thing that you're going to see when you're in the week 3 folder is that you're going to do a reflection or a critique of one of the other group members' projects. So what you're going to need to do is, when you open up this folder, it's going to basically explain what it is that you need to do. It's going to tell you where you need to go in order to do this. So when you open that up, you'll get that information. I'm going to kind of go over it now, but it is there for you in written format if you need to kind of go over it again to try to understand what it is you're going to be doing. So scrolling back to week 3. So in order to do the critique that you're going to be doing, you're actually going to go back up to the week 2 folder. And you're going to see, this is the discussion folders that you guys had for your groups. Right here is where you're going to see the folders that you are going to be doing your critique. What you need to do, and it's pretty simple, whatever group you were assigned to last week, that's where you're going to find here. So if you were in group 1, you're going to click on this folder and this folder only. You don't have to worry about these folders. It's only going to be for members of group 1. And what it's telling you to do is you're going to reflect and critique group 3's class presentation. So what you'll have to do basically before you do your critique is you'll have to go up here to group 3's folder, click on it, And when you click on group three's folder, you're going to see that at the very bottom is where their final submission should be. So when we scroll all the way down, you'll see their final submission. So group one members, you're going to click on their project, open it up, and you're going to watch their group presentation. Then you're going to go back to that folder that is for you, for group one, to do your critique. So that's basically what you're going to be doing. So, oh goodness. Okay, there we go. So you'll click there after you've gone to the group three folder, you've looked at their presentation and watched it, then you're going to click on here and do your critique. And it's a discussion post. And it is assigned specifically only for the students that were in each group. So only group one students are going to be assigned to this folder. So when they post their discussion post with their critique, that's how I'm going to be able to grade it. If you were in group one and you try to click on this folder and then you try to do a discussion post, it's not going to let you because you're not assigned to that folder. So just be aware of that. If you're in group one, you do not have to worry about these three folders. You don't do anything in there. You just do your critique in this folder. Same goes for group two, group three, group four. It's going to tell you which group you're going to go to view their presentation and basically watch it and then do your critique. Come back to this folder, put your discussion post with your critique, submit it, and I'll be able to grade it from there. And you're each assigned to the folder based off of what group you were in for week two. So that's it for that. If you have any questions, like as you get started with the week, and if that confuses you at all or anything like that, just send me an email and I'll just kind of work it out with you one-on-one if that's confusing in any way. And then this week, the main topics that we're going to be talking about are dreams, setting goals, what motivations you may have for school, for careers, things like that. And we're going to do an activity on goals and then motivation. You're going to have some reading that goes over resilience and grit and specific readings. Oops, I didn't mean to click on that, but there we go. We'll go back now. I didn't really mean to click there. So going back to the week three folder, I just have to wait for everything to load again. Okay. So you'll have specific readings for resilience and grit, and then you're going to have an activity that you do for each one of those. All of these activities in this week, other than this reflection that you're doing for the group presentations, all of these activities are going to be the text entry boxes, or you can do it on a Microsoft Word document if it is set to allow you to do that. So you're basically just typing in your answers that way. And it's all pretty self-explanatory. I do recommend just make sure you do the reading before you go and do these, because there are some of the assignments that are asking you for specifics. And one of the assignments down here, I believe it's the My True Grit assignment, it's asking you in part of the question to reflect on something that you had to do in your reading up here for the week. So if you're not doing the reading, you're maybe not necessarily going to know how to answer that correctly, and you might get some points taken off. So just make sure as you're going along and you're doing the reading, a few of these reading folders have some short little video clips that kind of go along with the reading. So you can just click on those and watch the little videos as you go along. And then basically that should prepare you pretty well in order to do these activities and make sure that you're able to answer them based off of the information that you got from your reading. So it's a pretty easy week, nothing too crazy. So hopefully now you can take a, big sigh of relief. You no longer have to worry about group projects anymore. And now basically you can kind of work on the individual stuff again. And we're going to keep going with all of our different topics we have for this class. Other than that, I'm going to try to keep this short and sweet. If you have any questions this week, just let me know. Just remember that all of the week two, everything that you submitted for week two, I'll try to have it graded within a week. So now that the due date has come up, it'll take me, up to a week to get everything graded. And I will take into account like anyone that sent me emails or anything like that about group members that didn't participate, or if they only partially participated, that's going to affect people's grades differently. But those of you that actually, were in the discussion folders, you were active, you participated in the actual recording of your presentation, you don't have to worry too much, even if things didn't go super smoothly. I'm not going to take into account whether you had to kind of alter your plans because somebody didn't participate or something like that. I kind of roll with it. I take the information that students give me if they sent me an email, and I take that into consideration when I do my grading. So don't worry, I'm not going to be super hardcore about it, but just mainly as long as you got the basics of what you were supposed to cover, you should be good and you shouldn't have to worry too much, even though it was stressful. I know, because some of you did express some extreme stress to having to do the group presentation and, people not pulling their weight. But anyway, that is it for the week. So I will see you all next week. And like I said, just email me if you have any questions. All right. Well, have a good week.